Dante, a lot of people, their eros is disproportionate. It's out of proportion. It lacks ratio. I mean, that's why Virgil is there to remind us that. Where comes forth the drive to bring proper proportion to one's eros?
All right. Okay. I see what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah. Where does it come from? What is it that turns us?
Death is the cure for this problem. And that sounds like a horrible thing to say, but it seems to be what that is that dying is the capacity to change, and the suffering and death is the capacity to notice the gap, right? It's like when you suffer, you see the gap. And so the weird thing about the Christian answer seems to be something like choose to die on purpose. Seems to be the answer to it. It's like if you accept dying without it happening to you, then that is what will reorganize your eros. And Jacob, what you said about getting older, I think I'm experiencing it obviously because I'm almost 50. I'm getting older and everything. And so, hey, isn't that crazy?
50 was a long time ago, man.
Yeah, for me.
But what I mean is, but what I mean is that I can see that my body is diminishing, right? I can see that, and so I also notice that my desires could not diminish. Right. And then I see around me, because I'm, like I said, I'm coming close to 50. I see those 52, 53-year-old guys who crack and, leave their wife and buy a sports car and, marry some 20-year-old or whatever. And it's like, and in some ways I'm noticing that if I die, like if I accept the death of my body, and I let's say it becomes an opportunity for me to reorient eros. And so death is actually an opportunity for me to be saved from my desires. Like my body giving out is actually a wonderful thing if I can take it in the proper way, where I can see it happening and notice that it's like, oh, those things that I wanted, like I want to be beautiful, I want to be in shape, I want to be this. It's like, you know what? I kind of have to let that go, because it's going to happen to me now or later. I'm going to end a frail, decomposing body just like everybody else. And so I could hold on to that and be the tough guy and try to look like I'm 25 until I'm 60, but I can't do that until I'm 80. Like I'm going to hit that limit. I might as well die consciously. And I can notice that it's doing that to me. Like it's reorienting my desires necessarily.
Plato does the same thing. Philosophy is a preparation for death. I'm trying to get clear. So is it, I don't want to turn you into Heidegger or something. Is it, it's something like in Tolstoy, Ivan Ilyich always knew he was going to die, the way that 2 + 2 = 4. But now Ivan Ilyich knew he was going to die. There's a non-propositional waking up to your mortality. So is there a proposal here from you, Jonathan, that what can make the turn is somebody properly awakening to their mortality? But for that to genuinely be the case, it's not something they do, it's something that has to strike them. It's something they have to suffer. If you just state your mortality, you're not actually experiencing your mortality. Do you understand what I'm trying to convey?
It probably depends on people. Like some people, they won't necessarily need a massive blow from life for that to happen to them. And then some people you meet that have gotten that massive blow, and then if they take it properly, they're transfigured. I've met several people like that.
Okay.
But then you can also keep your mind, like what a recent saint in the Orthodox Church said, keep your mind in death all the time. You have to remember death. Like that's how you do it all the time.
I think this is a good answer, and I'm starting to feel like my question is being addressed. So it makes me now make this proposal to you, that all of this feeds into a fundamental thing within the Platonic framework, which is the notion of participation, about the relationship. The relation of participation that constitutes the vertical axis, but also constitutes how the horizontal things are bound together. Go ahead.
You talked to Father Maxis about that, like the idea of synergy. Like it's a beautiful way to portray it.
Yeah.
Like in some ways, it's like you just, you can't do it on your own. But you open the door, this little sliver, and then a bit of light comes in, and then it kind of gives you the courage to open it a bit more. And so there's this call and response mechanism, you could say.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's dialogical, properly understood. And there's where Tillich and Plato come together. But
Yes.
also I think the Socratic answer, right? The self is something that is inherently dialogical and therefore inherently participatory through and through.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely right.